Morning, everyone.
Morning, Gill.
Thank you. Almost 25 years ago, I started a new job in a lovely gallery in the heart of England. And we had a show on by an artist called Gill. Now, this was a time in British art when conceptual art was in favour. Many artists were making artworks that were about the idea, the concept, and not necessarily about how it looked. One of the first things I had to do was deliver a Saturday tour. So we had about 20 people on the tour. We got a third of the way round. We came to this artwork. It's called Monochrome Till Receipt, brackets, white. It's not framed or anything, it just hangs there on a big white wall. And there was a man in the front of the group, and he was visibly shaking with emotion. And he got out his wallet, and he got out a receipt, and he threw it at me, and shouted, "This is my till receipt! Why isn't this on the wall?" And then walked off before I had a chance to share anything more about the work. Because if he had stayed with it, remained curious and kept looking, he would have seen that all the items on the till receipt are white. Flour, rice, chewing gum, milk. So this artwork is fun. It's playful. And at the time, I imagined the artist going to a supermarket, getting a trolley, going up and down the aisles, and deciding what white things to put in that trolley, what was white enough. So this artwork is essentially a performance, and the till receipt is the evidence. And I love talking about this work because it shows the power of contemporary art to create a reaction and raise strong feelings. It's certainly stayed with me all this time. Now, contemporary art is a term that refers to art made from the late 1950s, early 1960s until now. Contemporary literally means of now. So that's a long time. That's 65 years. That's a lot of artists making a lot of art. And that art can be many things. It can be painting, sculpture, performance, video, installation, sound. So there is something for everyone. Don't close yourself off or limit the potential for what you might experience. Because there is potential for any encounter with art to bring a process of change, to take you from a familiar state to something new and perhaps unexpected. Well, this can set up a defensiveness because what's happening is challenging. It's easy to dismiss the artwork, say it's rubbish, walk away. I see contemporary art as an invitation to take a risk and join in. Here's an example. Imagine you're wandering around a gallery. Someone comes up to you, dressed in beautiful robes, and they ask, "May I give you a gift of song?" To which you hopefully respond, "Yes, please." They lead you to a chair made by the artist. They then sing to you one of Schubert's 5 Lieder, a 4-minute performance. Imagine the sound of a classically trained voice soaring up and over the gallery walls, drawing people to that sound like the Pied Piper. But this song it's just for you. It's sung directly to you. Your emotional state might change. You might feel joy. You might feel melancholy. You might cry. This work is called Sonic Blossom, and it's by Li Mingwei. It's a living sculpture. Wherever it's performed in the world, the artist asks that local classically trained performers deliver the song. It's a direct invitation to enjoy a short and intense moment of beauty. It's essentially an act of generosity, a gift from the artist. And when people ask me what I do for a living, it's not that their eyes glaze over, it's more about that they don't know such a job exists. And that job, in a nutshell, for all my life, has been to make contemporary art accessible for as many people as possible. And I've been called many things over the years. I've been a curator of education and interpretation, a head of interaction, and more recently, a director of audience engagement. And what all these roles have in common is the desire to reach new audiences for contemporary art, because museum and gallery spaces are places for everybody, for all of us. And this kind of role means you get to create and oversee countless learning experiences, not just for schools, but for all kinds of people and communities, where people with dementia and their care partners return to the museum again and again to take part in a program that invites them to look at art, talk about art, make gestures, move their bodies. Oh yeah. Because being able to express yourself creatively through your body becomes really important if and when on your dementia journey you lose language. A program like this that invites people to be playful and take risks can have an amazing impact on their quality of life and well-being. These programs are just full of life and laughter. As one person with dementia put it, it allows us to continue to live, giving hope for the future. And when the pandemic hit and the world shut down, museums and galleries responded rapidly to put their learning programs online, and found out, ironically, that they became even more accessible, reaching into people's homes, people who are housebound or living in regional and remote areas. And that's why many of these programs, they still exist online today, as well as in real life. Now we're open for business again. Many cultural spaces are seeing the need to create even more programs and opportunities to support our well-being. Because the pandemic, bushfires, floods, many of us are still feeling flat. It's not a mental health diagnosis, it's not depression. The term is languishing. We're feeling empty, a lack of joy. And we want to be flourishing. We want to feel connected to ourselves and to each other, to our work, to find flow and get back that inner joy. Just being in the museum, being with art, can support our well-being. Well-being is about quality of life. It's something you do rather than something you are. And this is supported by research, which tells us there are 4 main drivers, 4 reasons, for why we visit museums and galleries. The first one is social. You go to a museum cafe, meet a friend, go around the exhibition together. The second one is intellectual. Many of us are lifelong learners. Wherever we are in the world, we'll visit a museum or gallery. We want to learn something new. But the other 2 are emotional and spiritual. We yearn to be taken outside of ourselves, to feel differently, to escape from the world. 20 years later, I can still remember how uplifted I felt seeing this work. It's called The Weather Project, by artist Oliver Eliasson, and he created a huge false sun and a reflective ceiling and installed it in Tate Modern's massive turbine hall. And people stood for hours gazing, basking in this sun. And other people made shapes instinctively on the floor with total strangers seeing themselves reflected in that ceiling. So I'd like to invite you to go to a museum or gallery near you, maybe take part in a workshop, or just enjoy the exhibition that they have on. And when you do, can I suggest you remain curious? That's probably the most important thing. And ask questions. A classic question is, what do I see in front of me? But try, how does this artwork make me feel? And where am I feeling it in my body? And take your time. I'm thinking of the slow looking movement here, where you spend 5 minutes with one artwork instead of 5 seconds. And when was the last time any of us did that? So please take on this invitation, this gift that is contemporary art, because you never know what you might find out or experience. Thank you.